What makes the greats great? What makes the successful successful? What makes the brilliant brilliant? Our Tuesday meetups with the celebrities of pharma industry and science are your one-stop shop to all these answers and more. Join us for Pies of Life, an initiative of the Biopatrika Industry Mentorship Program, where we bring your dream mentors to you.
Hello, everybody. Wishing you all a very delightful time of the day and welcoming you to a brand new episode of Pies of Life. Joining us today is the very versatile Dr. Jaganmohan Reddy, the founder, CEO, and CSO of UR Advanced Therapeutics Private Limited. Having started a career in science as a research student and having pursued his research in Lincoln University, Dr. Reddy went on to establish his own research laboratory in India. Along the way, he's been a part of various committees, including the Tissue Engineering and Regenerative Medicine International Society. His research interests broadly include tissue engineering, biomaterials, and cancer biology. Currently, setting the vision of bench to bedside translation, he has ventured into the world of startups through UR Advanced Therapeutics, whose current focus is on tissue engineering and personalized medicine. I'm sure everyone is equally excited as we are to hear from the speaker himself on his healthcare business startup here. Over to you, sir.
Basically, I come from Hyderabad, around Hyderabad. I'm not from Hyderabad, but somewhere close by city. I did my BSc and then I moved to Canada for my master's degree and from University of Manitoba. We were working, actually that was my first learning experience per se in research. Until that time, we hardly know what is research, what is actually conducting research in a lab. So that was my first experience and that is my learning period. That has been a great journey of 3 years in research. I would say that has molded my career, but that has molded me as a person during that time. Getting to know research, getting to know my personality, staying away from home for the first time, outside India. So that was the work was on cell and gene therapy kind of thing. We were developing the adenovirus that can deliver the VEGF we were studying the downstream pathway of various signaling pathways in lymphatic development. And that was my master's thesis. And after that, I moved for my PhD. I was there partially as a research fellow in University of Manitoba for another 3 years, and then moved for my PhD in Sweden. And then I did my post-PhD work as well in Sweden. That was where we were working on tissue engineering, where we developed an artificial cornea that can regenerate your normal, that can replace the donor cornea. Basically, cornea, you collect it from the deceased person and then place it into the blind person who has corneal defects. This is an artificial biomaterial based cornea. It can induce the proliferation of your stem cells and then form a normal cornea. So basically you are not using any of the cells. So tissue rejection will be very less and it will form actually your normal cornea. So I did that until 2017. I was in Sweden and then I moved to India to implement the artificial cornea in India. So that was the patent that we had, and we were here to conduct the phase 1 clinical trials. So I came and we were establishing that. And then somewhere in the COVID time, I came out of it. And then I started my own company. So I started, if I would say to start up my own company, it has been a dream for a very long time. From 2010 at least, there has been a discussion with my friends, but as I was saying, we never find a courage to start on our own initially, mainly because we always think that we're not good enough to start on our own, or to have something to keep pursuing that and to keep pushing towards. You are neither stable, you are intellectually or even financially, you are not so stable. So it would be a very hard decision at that time. And also your networks would not be that great. So you will be quite unsure of your decisions. I tried for 6 months during that time to start up on our own, but eventually we decided it's not the right time. So I again went back. Uh, sorry. So can you just give me a second? I just have to.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm good. So basically, uh, from that one, and again, I moved to Sweden. I worked there for 7 years. I came back. Even then, I wasn't sure, but there has been discussions with my friends and colleagues who are from industry. I have always been in the academia, so industry is new for me. Even though the excitement of having your own company or the one organization that runs according to your vision, that is the most important thing for me. That was important, but I don't think I was sure enough to have such a bigger vision and to have that strength to continue on that. So I was discussing with my friends from 2018, 2019, and then as I was saying, there was never a good time to start. And one fine day during the middle of night, I had to find my strength. I got an idea that can translate immediately into the industry, or that can generate some revenues before we get into the bigger picture of having a personalized therapy. Yes, we have a bigger dream for the company. We're actually 5 friends that have been in this journey for a very long time, and we know each other for the last 20 years. We have been in contact, and I came out first, but they have been my strength. They have been there in this support. So when we started in 2020, it was a pretty rough time for me, either personally or professionally. It has been a we have to start, and I have no way to go other than to start that. That is the phase that I came to, and there is something more to. I cannot leave India. I did not wanted to leave India. Actually, I never took any citizenship. I came back to India even after 17 years of being outside. So I knew I have to stay back in India and I have to do this. And the vision was to have some big company where definitely you want to go, because I'm trained in tissue engineering. I want to implement something that can, organ regeneration. You want to be at the cutting edge of the science. The implementing of that one, that is what that excites me, or that keeps me motivated to do that. But as a company, as a startup company, you are funded initially by our own. Like we were funding until this point, we were funding on our own. But actually, we are almost signing a contract with a fund, with a venture funding. So we are there. So we are going to announce it soon. I'm not going to announce it today. So yeah, we are there. Like we are signing it up, and actually, it's one of our product that got, as I was saying, my bigger product is something else. And then one in the middle of night, I had some thought, and then it quickly translated into a product. And that product has it's going on very well. And then it's actually cell death detection kit. It's basically there are many kits available in the market. Annexin 5 is one of the, for detection of apoptosis. Annexin 5, it's a protein. Can I talk a little bit of science, or is it okay?
Absolutely. I think it's very important for you to talk the science, because that's your whole venture. So please go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, it's not the detection of apoptosis is not novel, but how you detect it is the most important thing. So Annexin 5 has been there in the in the market for the last at least 15 to 16 years, I would say. And it has been one of the biggest player. The cell death market is somewhere around $5 billion worldwide. So it's a huge market, and I've been working on different molecules that I want to send into the cell. And then, but there are some molecules that I want to bind on the top of the cell. So we thought of starting with the annexin 5 is there. So what can we do better than annexin 5? So that is the where I had the different perspective of what my previous thoughts were. Why not? I have been sending something into the cell, and so one night I thought, why not I start on top of the cell? I can detect something on the top of the cell and detect apoptosis or cell death. So that's where we figured out one of our molecule that can bind to, it's a very small molecule. It's actually about 1.5 kilodaltons. So it's basically literally 30 times smaller than an annexin 5. And it can bind to phosphatidylserine, which is expressed on dying cells or apoptotic cells. So that's where our journey got really interesting. We know we can make revenues very quickly, and also we can achieve what is our intended dream of establishing a very advanced technological company. So eventually the aim is to implement these advanced therapeutics in India. Of course, there are some companies already existing, startup companies are there, but we come up with our own novel ideas, and our biggest strength is our team and our diverse expertise. I come from complete academia, and I have another friend comes from chemistry background, polymer chemistry. And then two of my friends work from industry on cell and gene therapy, and another is a formulation scientist. So we all come from very different genres and got here. So I think having a very good team that is at the cutting edge of whatever they are doing at that moment brings in a lot of strength to start on your own. So yeah, that's where it is right now. Any further questions or where I have to elaborate?
Yeah, so thank you, Dr. Reddy, for giving us an overview of your journey, touching on a few of the startup aspects, as well as talking to us about how, what was your idea, and how you probably thought you will fail in between and then continue, and then just really pushing yourself towards getting to where you are right now. So I invite everyone to raise their hands. I know Parvati is already excited. Please raise your hand. Please introduce yourself and then ask your question. Go ahead, Parvati.
Thank you so much. So it was so inspiring to listen to you, on the way how you have went through, right from being a research student to now being an entrepreneur and starting out with things like that. And I just have this one, I have a couple of questions. I will start with this one. So basically, you mentioned that you always wanted to start up a company, and you always wanted to expand, and you started speaking about it with your friends in 2010 itself. But then actually you said in 2019 in the middle of the night you had this idea, then it suddenly got translated. So how does this work? Do I actually have an idea and then think about starting it and then think about expanding it and or should I first thinking about starting up and then think of idea? What comes first?
No, I think we know that we wanted to start up the company, but you see, there are different ways to start up a company, and what I was telling was we are almost in our 40s. So we are in our 40s, and we have the expertise, we have the strength to stand up, and we know we are at some point in science where we can be little bit confident. We may not be too confident, but yes, definitely we are confident. We have seen the world, we have been with the experts in the field, so we do know, and that strength comes because of our experience. And then having an idea, see, we are all from a scientific background, so we do know we want to be at the cutting edge of science, but it may not always generate the revenues. The dilemma of the question, my dilemma when I wanted to start the company was that, see, whatever I do, if I'm going for a translational medicine directly applicable to patients, it might take 5 years before any of my idea can turn into a revenue generating stream. And you need to go for different stages of funding. You keep getting the fundings. That's where, like, you might find exhausted, and you might find, like, may not be the best fitted idea that you can, like, sustainability for 7 years without revenues. You just have to get the funding from the venture capitalists or other funders, wherever we are. It's a long journey. It's a tough journey. We realized that, and we knew that will be that's going to be an exhaustive journey. So I was thinking of the alternatives, because I've been working in various areas. Like, I started my journey in cancer biology. And then went into tissue engineering, targeting cancer cells. I was in various genres. So during that entire period, I might have had n number of ideas, right? Like every other month or few months later, you will have one idea. It would be a failure idea. It does not matter. But you have a concept, you think about a concept, you come up with a proposal, you will think what are the possibilities. Sometimes you go through the literature and somebody might have already proposed that idea and it's already existing. So that's the entire journey. Like, as a researcher, I would say, like, if I put all my 20 years of research experience, this is how I see it. I propose an idea, there will be somebody already existing. That idea is already published way long back, or they have just published. So it all shows that actually you would lose the confidence if you come up with an idea, you feel excited, and you see in the literature that somebody has already, you should lose your confidence, right? Actually, you should gain your confidence. You should not lose your confidence, I would say, because that idea works and somebody has already thought of that, means you are in the right direction, at least. And if somebody is publishing right after your idea, you got your idea, that means you are already at the edge of your whatever field that you are there. That's when you should be very confident, and you should become more confident. You are there, but you are not still there yet. So you keep pushing yourself, and then one night you will have the wonderful idea. Like, it's literally at 2 o'clock in the morning, I got the idea and I called my friend. We have the idea that can really make some progress in terms of revenues. So this product we will be launching in 2023. So we started this, like, the work has been there, like, actually the work has been there from 2016. The idea was there, but it was not, like, concretely there. Like, you have an idea, there is some proof that you have, but still you have to go back and do the research, do the entire reverse engineering of it, and having the people by area, like, in our lab, like, there are at least 3 people that will work on bioinformatics now. And we have the wet lab specialists, we have immunologists, we have cell biologists. So different area of people, and then we started reverse engineering it, the entire. Then we came to a point where it for sure works, and it is really highly sensitive, and it's a very small molecule, and it can be very cost effectively produced, and we can do live cell imaging. We can do, like, it's a single reaction. You don't need any other buffer. For annexin 5, for it to bind to phosphatidylserine, it needs calcium presence. Only then it can bind. Ours, it does not need. You just add it to the cells and start observing cell death. So it's as simple as that. And it took almost 1.5 years for us to completely come to this stage, from that ideation stage, innovation stage, and then reverse engineering stage to this. I would put in total 5 years, but, like, actively pursuing that is that 1.5 years of this. And then that one, right now we are completely making it a different company that will focus on diagnostics research and diagnostic research and research purpose only products. So we are now diversing into two companies. So UR Advanced Therapeutics will focus on therapies. So like cell and gene therapy or tissue engineering concepts that we have been working for a long time, and we want to implement that. And this new product line that we started, what we call it as biosensoring molecular sensors. So we are putting that as a different company for which we were able to raise the funding. It's going good, and we'll soon establish a separate entity. We'll be moving out of, we'll be there in the university as well, but also we'll have some facility outside the university that will start producing it on a pilot scale. So
Right.
yeah, like.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, following up with what all you've said, I mean, what I was really interested in is that you've achieved so much, and you have a group of co-workers with you, your friends who've established this company, and you are all working. I would like to know if you had any mentors or guides throughout the stage, and what was their influence? Because I mean, till now, what I understand is that you put in a lot of effort yourself, but were there people to guide you, to tell you your idea was worth it? Were there people perhaps to give financial backing throughout the way, or any sort of support and guidance? And how much do you owe to these supporters or guides throughout this journey?
Actually, my support system has been my friends, I would say. Friends and my students, like, those who have come with me. So it gave me a lot of strength when I moved out of my academic lab to start the company. My students who are with me, they have moved along with me. Even though they were in the middle of their PhD, they came back, and my postdocs came with me. So this has been my support. In terms of somebody mentoring me, per se, towards the industry, I got a lot of support after coming to University of Hyderabad, actually. So Professor Redana has been there, Bindu Madhav Reddy, who is my friend, he has been there. So and the entire Aspire Bionest, there were many difficult times where we did not had, we were getting the funds from our own pocket. So we had our own constraints, and my friends and I were putting together the money for every month, budgeting and other things. So there were times where we could not pay the rent. So, but still we were supported. In that case, I'm always grateful for University of Hyderabad, Aspire Bionest. So in terms of that support, I will always be grateful for that. And for mentoring in science, I really had a couple of excellent mentors during my early stages of my science. So Jeffrey Weigel is my master's thesis supervisor. That was my growing period in science. So I think without him, I would not have been here in science or per se. So because I was outside India, and that was my first phase of being outside India, and out of family, and I have to be focusing on research. So it's a lot of tough journey during first 3 years, and he has been there, and I think that gave a lot of support for me. And then my final stages of becoming a researcher, I think Professor Griffith, who was my mentor after my PhD, I think without her, I would not be here back in India. So I would not have been in tissue engineering. I still collaborate with her, talk to her very often. So I think these two people have been there. And in terms of industrial mentorship, I think it's my friends who have been from industry, and their advisors help me a lot, or what molecules will play a role, which will be the most prospective molecules. And a lot of support that you get, I think you need a lot of support, no matter how strong you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Praveen, go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, sir. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, it was really interesting to know about the tissue engineering and your work. Your journey is really inspiring, sir. Like, I want to ask one question. If I'm not wrong, in tissue engineering, there are 21 products in the clinical trial. And where do you see like tissue engineering and cell and gene therapy products in Indian market? Whether is though these products are affordable for Indian in Indian market, or how you compare with the US and the European region to Indian continent?
Yeah, see, I do understand right now it's still in the budding phase, either both cell and gene therapy program or tissue engineering concepts. There are at least few cell and gene therapy program been at least finished the phase 1 clinical trials, and they are going for phase 2 or phase 3 clinical trials right now. Tissue engineering still, skin regeneration has been there for a very long time. Corneal regeneration, Professor Griffith, who was my mentor, she has been working on that for the last 20 years, 22 years, I would say. Her first paper on corneal regeneration was in 1999, so before I started research. So, there has been a lot of research, and now from somewhere around 2010 to 2000, around that time, tissue engineering really started flying. Both even cell and gene therapy is of the same period, so basically if you compare the costs, doing cost of doing research in India is more expensive, I would say, mainly because not in terms of people's skills or anything, mainly the amount of money that you spend to have consumables, which are mostly costly. So in terms of the cost effective treatment coming to India, or like the affordability of the treatment of cell and gene therapy in India compared to abroad, I think it's the same thing. Even abroad, it's as much expensive. General population still have to struggle through to afford such advanced therapies as of right now. I think for one of the Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, it costs somewhere around 16 crores. If I remember,
2.1 million.
Yeah, so somewhere around 16 crores. Yeah, so it's there. The therapies are there. It's expensive. Actually, a couple of my friends who are working in UK right now, they are working on the cell and gene therapy programs for different companies. Their entire vision is to cut the cost down. Probably even if you cut by 50% in the next 3-4 years, it still gives you a very good leverage in terms of your affordability in India. But still, I think it's a long way to go before it becomes a common therapeutic program. At least I would say another 10 years, you are seeing the entire vision for it becomes a common cancer-like treatment, where people still can afford, but it's still going to be expensive. So it's there, but I think it will take some more time before it becomes a reality.
So one more question, getting a funding or getting funding from venture capitals in India, I think it is very difficult. But when you compare to US, what are the challenges you face getting funding from India? Yeah.
Actually, yes, there are two different approaches. Going for a venture capitalist, or how you want to get your funds. So general approach that we do normally, is we have a plan that will be for, you see, that's where you have to strategize your vision, rather than just going for a only one concept which you will have in your mind. I want to work on cell and gene therapy, I have to cut the cost down. So you have an idea, but by the time you want to make such a brilliant idea, to come into the conceptual stage is 3 years, And by the time phase 1 clinical trials are over, at least 5 to 7 years, you are looking, all that you have to depend upon a venture capitalist and keep on raising the funds without any revenues. So that is a huge task, and that's actually for a Indian investment, it would be very difficult to achieve something like that. It's a very long journey, and you have to have a lot of patience and lot of luck as well doing that. Indian funders are different types, I understood. There are purely family-based investments, wealthy people investments, and there are these angel network groups that are started becoming venture capitalists. All of them can take some risk. In India, the risk appetite is less, I would say, because mostly the investments for any kind of construction company is much more easier, because they will start seeing the revenues very quickly. But something in biotech startups that takes a long journey is much more difficult. That's why you have to put your immediate goals, immediate revenues, so that it's still you are contemporary. You still can make the investors enthusiastic, so that they will see some light at the end of the tunnel. It should not be too far away, where, yes, as scientists, we always feel we want to be at the cutting edge of the science. We want to do something like a brilliant idea. We want to bring these advanced therapeutics to India, and we want to be known around the worldwide, because many of us have been speaking in academics, it's a very common phrase, why there is no Nobel Prize from India, right? So everybody will be excited. Yeah, we want to work for that Nobel Prize. Yes, that's true. But we also need to understand the, working towards a Nobel Prize is not always a fruitful venture. So it's not like working towards the Nobel Prize. You just enjoy your journey. You need to keep your best money put forward for your best product and best thought. So start something you try to, this has been my approach from our inception of the company. Let's start to make something where we can reach the goals very quickly. Yeah. And then put that money back into your longer perspective goals. Mm-hmm. If you are not supportive of your longer perspective goals, how can any person who is not from science can support such a big idea?
Yeah, so absolutely.
You have to take your own risk, as well as you have to show your own enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And also don't come to make a company that can exit very quickly, make quick bucks, get exit, and be on the safe side. Don't do that. Try to think that this is your longest journey possible, and get some good friends to be in that journey. Mm-hmm. And there will be many times, most of the times, you will be questioned, is this the journey that works? Because you will be really uncomfortable every day. And because you will have families, and you will have to support somebody. So it would be a hard journey, but you need to be really, that's where you have to gain the strength, gain the, take even a smallest positive thing, and then try to continue the next day.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's Praveen, sorry for not letting you ask a follow-up question, but I think we can change the pace a little bit of our questioning, and Raji has a surprise rapid fire round for you. So okay. I think I will let her take the lead on this.
Okay. Can I start?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I guess Jagan should answer that question. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Myself. I'm passionate. I'm persistent, and I reinvent myself every time I'm down.
Okay. What is your inflection point in this entire journey?
Oh, there has been many actually. So the worst time has been the second wave, I would say, we just started, and we were pushing the money, and we had all my my students were there and everybody, and we had to shut down, and there were many issues at that time uh, because of the COVID. One of my students' father passed away, the student has been there with me right from the start of the company. So we did not have the money to support our cause, and there was a lot of instability during that time, last year from Feb to June. So we still had to push. We still had to do grouping up. We still had to push ourselves to be there every day as a group, and then taking it forward again. The last December, we had very tough time. We thought something has worked out completely, and we were there. We have achieved what we wanted, but in the last minute, it took a U-turn, and then something else came up. So, that will be there. These two has been very pivotal points in deciding where we are today. It showed the entire group was there, stood during that time. I think those things right now, we really enjoy those things. As a group, we became much more stronger. I think those 2 points have been the inflection points.
Okay. What are the 3 things you can't live without?
I can't live without my laptop. So laptop is from the morning to evening, it stays with me. My jeans. What else? Yeah. Third one, I do not know. Actually, I do not know. These two, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. What is your way to get de-stressed?
Oh, distressed. I watch a lot of Netflix.
Okay.
Any series. I enjoy Big Bang Theory. I enjoy Friends. I enjoy Vikings.
Okay.
So there will be a lot of comedy shows. Yeah.
Okay. 3 qualities a person must have to become an entrepreneur.
Oh, entrepreneur. I think you should have the passion to actually. You should be okay. I would tell one thing. You should have been always a trendsetter. Always, where you come from, it doesn't matter. The smallest trend in surrounding you, it does not have to be a trendsetter worldwide, right? Just around you, you should have your own personalized approach to everything. So after a while, you cannot really follow anybody. You just have to do something that you have to do. So I think that's what determines you to be an entrepreneur.
Okay. 3 qualities you look for in a person when you are interviewing someone, maybe as an employee.
As an employee, first thing, actually, we just hired people, so I can tell very frankly. So first thing is their honesty. Definitely, they don't need to be super intelligent. And actually, one girl told very good answer I have never heard in my life. I asked, are you a very quick learner, or you take time? So she said she's a slow runner, but she has persistence in learning. So I think such kind of honest people we would like to have, first thing. Second thing is always like, you should show your personality. Don't cover up your personality. Like, don't show up like an act. Don't have an act there. Be as like, have a strength to show your personality. It's not like, you are going, this is another trait that we are building in our organization is no, there is no distinction between personal life and work life, because your work is nothing but your personality, your personal extension of what you want to do in your life, right? You are living your life or you are not living your life. So we all live our life and work is one of our life. So bring your personality to the interview, bring yourself to there, show your, like, if you are weak, show your weakness, show your strength wherever you are strong. So these two things definitely I look forward, and obviously I don't mind having a bit of humor.
Okay. Okay. Any decisions you are regret of in this entire career?
No, I don't make, once I make a decision, I don't regret.
Okay. Any hidden talent of yours which most people are not aware of?
No, I don't think I have any hidden talent.
Okay. Okay. Last question. 3 things a person must have to be successful and at the same time physically and mentally fit. Any success mantra you follow?
No, I don't want to be like, I don't think any person can say they are successful. Anybody can say, like, they have both success and failures, and most probably they will have more failures than successes. So, like, I don't think there is a mantra. Have your own personalized approach with no regrets. You will be successful. Like, you will feel content, fulfilled in life. I think that's most important thing, rather than like per se, like, purely successful academically or like scientific pursuits. I think these will add flavor to it, but I don't think, like, anybody can say they are very successful. I don't buy that concept of being successful.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Raji. So I saw you and Parvati raise their hands, and if you have any quick questions, we can get those to Jagan.
Yeah, actually, I have a different kind of a question. Like, for someone who really want to start his or her own startup, is it a good idea to work in an industry setup first and then pursue that idea further? And at the same time, when it comes to intellectual property transfer, like suppose if you have worked in the similar kind of a setup earlier and you want to start your own company in a similar with a similar idea, then what kind of issues or what kind of things you need to keep in mind in such kind of situation?
So, like, okay, I'll answer this in two parts. So one is, your question is like, what environment is better for you to start your own company, to have an intellectual idea, right? There is no good environment, right? It's always your mind that you come up with new ideas, either you are in academics or either you are in industry. Being in academics, it helps you to be aware of many things, actually. Like, and also you'll be at the cutting edge of your own science, what you are doing. If you have done a very good PhD, you will be really good at, in your very specific area, you are excellent. That's the entire point of having a PhD, right? So coming from the industry, you will know the tweaks and the nitty-gritties of what makes a product, how to make a product, how to generate it a revenue, what is the model, which I lack, and that has been supported by my friends. I would say, like, I'm an academician, I have been an academician, and even still in our lab, we still try to push students towards PhD. like even from our company. So it's there, your heart is academic, but your ideas come from, it doesn't matter either you are in academics or industry, it's you, the person who finds something exciting, who formulates something, who comes up with a novel idea, probably that works, this works. So I don't think there is right environment. I think it's a right thought process that you are inculcating yourself or your mentors are putting in your mind. So
thank you, Jagan. I think that was a great answer. And I think to follow up to Rajashree's question, we have a question in the chat which says, who was your first employee? I mean, you don't have to give us a name, but I think the main part of the question is are they still with you in the team?
actually, my two first employees are my students itself. So Niti and Raghav. So I don't mind telling, Niti has been there, my student. So Niti is now in Canada doing her PhD, continuing her PhD, but we are still collaborate because she is with my post PhD supervisor, Meg Griffith. We are still in collaboration with Meg Griffith. So she's part of this entire company, I would say, so yeah, they are there with me.
Parvati has a quick question. She has announced it to everyone. She's very excited to ask this.
Yeah, so thank you, Charu. Thanks also for sharing your insights. It was so inspirational to listen to that. So basically, when we're dealing with academia, we're dealing with things in the scale of microliters. And now when we're transitioning to the industry and we are mass producing it, it's like scaling up for so long. So how does it feel to be like an academician dealing with such a big scale up? How do you work with that? Just your personal.
Pardon me, I could not hear you very clearly. Can you speak a bit?
Can you hear me now? Is it
Yeah, so I can actually give you a question, Parvati. I think what she wants to know is that in the academics, we work in microliters, and in the industry, it's liters and beyond. So how did you as an academician moving to industry deal with that kind of a scale change?
Oh, okay. Actually, we still work on microliters, I would say. I would, mainly because you see, we are a research company. We are not doing production scale. Even our product that is coming into the market, it's still even 1 mg is 50 reactions for us, 1 mg of the product. So with 50 grams, we are producing somewhere around 50,000 kits. So that is our biggest scale right now. So we're still in the micro level. So definitely, some of our products will get into bigger scale, and I'm glad I'm not going to be the person that will be working on that. Because I'm mainly right now, I don't really work in the lab right now. Most of my my students and my colleagues work there. I'm mostly in the I deal with the ideas, I develop the concept.
A network should last a lifetime. Let us help you create lasting professional relationships with our world-class mentors through the Biopatrika Industry Mentorship Program. A strategic guidance program unlike no other, full of expert interviews, industry internship opportunities, CV writing, inflection point analysis, life maps, and of course, the gateway to your dream career. For a limited time only, all our services are freely available for you, as we truly want you to succeed.